Welcome to the Golden Grotto Lounge. I'm here with my illustrious crowd of guests. Jorrit van der Valk of James Bond Nederland. Fred from Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, the country capital of the world.
Yes.
Yeah. And Willy, you are from?
Solingen, the famous city for all the knives get to German manufacturers.
Absolutely. And we've all come here by boat to the Golden Grotto Lounge, which of course belongs to our good friend Mr. Largo, who's right next door. It's a wonderful cave with a bar and a piano player, and we get everything we want here. And our goal is to talk about Bond in all its glory.
Yeah.
Just for you to enjoy. And our current topic is Bond scores, the music of James Bond. Jorrit, you pressed me, you asked me what my favorite score is, and you said something like David Arnold, but you're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. You can have another guess, but
only one. It's not modern, or is it?
It's not. What do you call modern?
I always thought you like Sarah as well, but. No, I look at your face. No, people can't see your face, but I can. I have a glove.
Most of the time,
we're in
my
the grotto.
face says
We are
nothing.
in the grotto, of course. No, he has a has a poker face. I think it's Barry then.
No. That is hard for a Bond fan to accept, that your favorite score is not a Barry.
Yeah.
My favorite score is not a Barry. No.
Oh, good.
Willy, what do you think?
Yeah, can I go with a guess? As I said in the audition before, I would.
There was an audition?
I would like to go with. Is it a Bond from the 70s? A Bond from the 70s, right?
It is, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would go with Live and Let Die.
Absolutely. Absolutely. George Martin. Yeah.
Good score.
It is a fantastic score, because when you have to get the vinyl record of Live and Let Die, and you have to play it on a really good vinyl player. There are so many layers in this music, and every time you listen to it, you will find something new. You will either hear a different instrument that you haven't heard before, or you think you will hear a different instrument. This is such a lush film score. Incredible. It's just incredible. The vibrancy of it is so fantastic. I love John Barry and I love David Arnold. Really. Also Marvin Hamlish. A little bit less. I'm also a big fan of Bill Conti.
Oh, that's also great.
But George Martin's score for Live and Let Die really is a standout score in the Bond series.
Yeah.
Go on, change my mind.
Yeah, I think you know what I like, Ben. David Arnold is my favorite. Yeah, but it's also because I grew up in it, and he really
is great.
I really like as people who have listened to the first episode of this of the Grotto podcast series know that we both love the score in Tomorrow Never Dies. All the different layers as well, but also it's all very it suits the film so well. It's a fast film, it's an action film. It also has its spy moments, as we discussed before. Especially we spoke about the break-in at Carver's factory
in Hamburg.
Yeah, that was absolutely great. But I really love David Arnold because, I really like electronic music, like dance music and trance and so on. So, that is my favorite composer of the lot.
I wouldn't have picked you for the type of liking electronic music.
Really? Okay.
That opens up a totally different side.
Well, you haven't been for a long time driving with me in my car. So
no, but that was my second thought. Judging by your careful driving, I would have much more gone for Chopin. But okay.
No. It's really always everything electronic, like David Guetta, Armin van Buuren. I like.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fred, what is your favorite score, James Bond score?
Well, again, I think you were mentioning about when you grow up, where the time period, and obviously for me it's Barry.
Yeah.
And he has so many good scores.
Yeah.
But to me, the top one is You Only Live Twice. I think it's just top notch. And a close second, again, Living Daylights, his last one.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's great
Wonderful.
too. Yes.
Very good.
Yeah. Very good job.
Mhm.
Yeah. But the living, but this, you only live twice, and I like this. I like the strings in You Only Live Twice. This is na 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 na.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you instantly recognize the very first tones with every James Bond movie when you're familiar with it. And I was I came up with an unpopular opinion now, but I think Hans Zimmer on No Time to Die, I liked his score, but not everything of his works. But I said in the cinema, and I was like, when the scene where James Bond dies, the final ascent, it's called, the title, I cried like a baby. It was like, it was like, oh my gosh,
But
you got me.
And I had the score before I saw the film, and I knew exactly in that track that Bond was going to die.
Me too.
I never listen to the scores before I see the movie.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I don't know why I do that. I just out of it.
And I have to say, I love what David Arnold had done with the Casino Royale, the James Bond theme at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was I think it was only the one person in the whole damn cinema who was standing up and was like, "Oh my gosh, what?"
You mean Casino?
Casino, yeah, Casino.
Yeah, because that's one of the best.
Oh
Bond
my
themes there is.
gosh!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! It was
even everything from the film he puts in it, like the bongos from.
And of course the love theme, City of Lovers, when they used to with a boat in Italy in Venice. It was wow! It was so. I mean, the whole film works from the score, everything. It's great.
Yeah, music does a lot.
Yes.
And I think it was an Academy Awards broadcast where Tom Cruise was doing the introductions to the original score category, and he said something along the lines of music transports emotion, things like that. When we go to the cinema, it's the music that draws us into a scene, and Barry did that very well.
Yes.
And this is an interesting subject I actually want to go into, fan reactions when you are in the cinema, when you see a film for the first time. Because I've got something, or I saw it in others as well, and I know certainly that I have it, the Bond fan smile. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
You know the Bond fan smile?
Yeah.
When a certain piece of music comes on, when you see the film for the first time, or Bond does a certain thing on screen, you automatically smile. You have this sort of fan smile, like, oh, here we go.
Shall I tell some moments?
Oh, he does it.
It gives you chills. It gives you chills.
I had that in Matera in the chase with the Aston Martin. It's so much Zimmer, and then the moment comes up that you hear it. And then I thought, and then later on I thought, oh.
But it happens on so many occasions.
Yeah.
It happens in Tomorrow Never Dies, for example, during the opening sequence.
Mm-hmm.
You know Bond is going to win, but you don't know how he's going to do it. And that is going to put the smile on your face. And when you hear
from Bond in that film, and also in GoldenEye, it's so classic Bond. It's so very well done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
and when you hear this motif,
fire,
yeah. And this motif in Tomorrow Never Dies, when the Arms Bazaar scene is close to its end, and he's going down with the jet, and he's taking off, and you have this this motif playing that repeats throughout the entire film, and he comes out of this fireball. You have this Bond fan smile. This is my
Bond.
Hero.
Typical Bond.
And that's what I love. And so many pieces of music underline this perfectly.
Absolutely.
And then again, you're in this question of masculinity. Bond cried in Skyfall, for example. when M was killed.
Yeah.
Many people say he didn't cry. He was
did.
just sweaty.
No,
he cried.
Yes.
He cried.
He cried.
Absolutely.
He cried.
Did any of you cry in any of the Bond films?
Yes, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, of course.
That
yeah.
moment.
Which one?
That moment.
Just the last one, or
No,
or
that
a-
moment.
anyone?
No.
With M.
When M died.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so touchy, and she fought like hell to stay alive, and she knew that she's going to die. And the moment when she found out was almost 20 or 30 minutes before that she wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
You saw it on her whole way of behaving, and she knew it. And that was so well played by Judi Dench, by the way. One of the best actors.
It was like, I mean, you feel the very ongoing chemistry between Judi Dench and Danny Craig. I mean,
yes.
in every second when they're on screen, it's so
that's
great.
true.
I mean, Skyfall was such a delight to watch as a 15th anniversary. It was the best movie they could make of it.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's very personal. All those Craig films are personal films. First, he gets betrayed by the love of his life.
Yeah.
And then he gets revenge for that. And then he loses the woman that he saw as his mother. And then it goes off. It derails a bit, but okay. Yeah, that is very well done, and especially also because when the Craig films came out, the MI6 staff wasn't only at Vauxhall Cross. No, they were seen in other parts of the movie, and we also talked about that, Ben and I, in the first episode, that I really loved those moments when the MI6 crew, Q, M, Tanner, Moneypenny, are out in the field and doing stuff, and even the Ray Fiennes fighting for a good cause, and he shows a bit of his own old pedigree. I really like that.
Yeah. And I was like in Skyfall, there was the scene where James Bond used to get away with M in the Aston Martin DB5. And the minute the door opens, and I was like in the cinema, oh my God!
Yeah, of course.
I was like applauding. I was like applauding on the whole scene because Thomas Newman put over the James Bond name, and you have to play the James Bond theme in this scene. And it's Skyfall is a delight.
Yeah. And that is one of the moments where this James Bond fan smile comes on.
Yeah.
By the way,
definitely.
waiter, can I have something to drink and some chocolate? Is that possible? Thank you.
Chocolate.
Yeah, I'm a bit
Think of
hungry.
your figure.
Yeah, I'm a bit hungry. There we go. Ooh, lovely.
There you go.
Lovely.
Dovete 100
Oh, yeah.
Dovete uno vino per favore fa tanto. Sì, grande.
Oh, they also speak Italian. That's great. I never knew that.
Oh, you just had to show off your skills.
No, he learned it from Largo.
Is it a James Bond podcast or is it not?
We learned it from Largo.
I gotta say, the biggest laugh that I heard in a Bond movie was the end of No Time to Die. A bunch of us were all sitting, waiting for the end. The credits went through, and the last thing when it says James Bond will return, the guy stood up and said, "Liar! He died!" And we all just roared. Yeah.
I can imagine.
I was like in No Time to Die. I was like when Bond died, and I finally realized, oh my God, they killed him off, and I was like, are they going to show James Bond will return? Really? For sure? And then
They
it was
did.
They did. They did show it. I was like, oh my gosh, how does the whole franchise heading to? It was my first question when I came out the movie. Of course, I was completely impacted when I left the cinema. But I have to guess the movie. It was the longest James Bond movie ever. Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was
The first thing that came to mind when I read this James Bond will return was a quote from Tracy DiVincenzo in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, where she says, "You're quite sure of yourself, aren't you?"
That's right.
Oh, by the way,
Because from that point on, I didn't know how they would rescue their franchise out of that depth.
No.
Oh,
No,
by the way,
indeed. That's a good one. That's a
by
very
the
good
way,
one.
Benjamin, There was a scene where I nearly used to cry also, when George Lazenby holds her Diana Rigg in his arms, and we have all the time in the world.
At the end?
At the end, nearly, but I don't cry, but it was quite close. That
I cried at the scene in the barn.
Okay.
That's
When
always
he's
very nice.
when he's willing to give everything up, but this whole scene is down to a lot of factors: composition, image composition. You have a lot
Music.
of softener, music, and a lot of softener. This whole image is very, very soft. The lighting is great, and you have these two in the middle, and everything around it is black. So they just kept sort of the Diana Rigg and George Lazenby in frame. And this was really somebody in love. You can compare it with the scene in Casino Royale on the beach when Bond talks to Vesper and he's ready to give everything up, because he says the exact same thing that he says in On Her Majesty's. And it's always a tough moment when you decide to give something up for somebody else. That is, and if you have that experience that for yourself in your life, you can connect something to it. And when I cry in the cinema, it has a connection to my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or to something in my life. I cried in a concert where they played John Barry music, and I knew in the interval, because I read it in the program, that after the interval, the first piece of music they play is the theme from Out of Africa. And I said to my friend, this is going to be hard, because I'm going to cry like a dog. Because that was my mother's favorite film, and she died when I was 15. So that is the connection. And it's still very difficult to listen to. And the same happens, people laugh about that, the same happens in Jurassic Park. I cry at the end of Jurassic Park. Which is an action film. An action adventure film.
Jurassic Park is one of the best films ever made.
Yes, and I saw it as a child with my mom in a local farmer cinema. I think they had like 15 seats. And it was so grand. It is such a vivid memory from my childhood. And again, it is music that triggers this emotion.
Music for
John Williams.
Jurassic is Williams. It's great.
Yeah. It is the main theme of John Williams' music. When I am in a sad mood and I put that on, I guarantee you I will cry. And that has nothing to do with being masculine or whatever. Men are allowed the same feelings as men. So it's absolutely a good thing that they made Daniel Craig cry in Skyfall.
I agree.
That is a good thing, because he is a man with feelings. They are underlying, but they are there.
And most of the people...
It's an important message.
Yeah, people say Bond can't cry. Bond is not an emotional man because he's working for His Majesty's Secret Service. That's what we get in the next film, by the way. That's also very a new thing, of course. But he's a man of flesh and blood. Come on. The man has feelings.
Yes.
The man can get shot. What is the other times when Bond gets really injured than in the Craig films? Is there? Is he ever getting shot in another film? Is he?
No.
No.
I mean, Casino Royale is brutal in that regard.
Yeah, of course, but that's a great.
He gets so beat up.
Yeah.
And of course, in Casino Royale, I don't know, guys. You all know this, but Ian Fleming in Casino Royale's novel, at the end when he discovered Vesper lying on the bed in the novel, he cried like a baby in the novel, and Ian Fleming has written about it. And of course, James Bond is a man, as you said, Jorrit. He's a man out of flesh and blood, and he has the option to cry. And damn it, he can cry. Of course, why not? Why not?
That's true.
Do you remember the scene in Casino when he gets beaten up and he goes into the bathroom and he's cleaning the blood off his face and off of, and you see the look on his face. It looks like he's about ready to cry right then.
It's a very strong scene.
I love this.
A man can be beaten. Hello.
That's true.
I love this scene when he realizes, oh my God, there are persons out there who can't deal with death, and the art, how he's reacting, heading to Vesper, going with her on the shower. and
Yeah.
it's a little cold. He says, "Okay." Then he's doing.
Changing the
It's
thermostat.
so great. It's so well made, and
Yeah, but also
I like-
there the music,
Yeah.
of course,
And the music, of course.
score. Yeah,
David Arnold, of course, he's done a magnificent job on that. And
Yeah.
that movie. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they
and the
were
nice
smart.
thing is,
And
They were
Go ahead.
smart to not use the Bond theme
Yes,
until the very
Yes.
end.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
and it was great.
yes, that was a
So
very
the-
smart move.
that's
yeah.
also the cue that Bond is the Bond that we know
Yes,
That's right.
from
Yeah.
that moment on.
That's right.
So that's why they did that. And of course the line
Yeah.
it was.
where Daniel
Perfect.
Craig was very nervous
It was
about.
perfect.
He's a little bit looking up to it. Oh, then this today when I'm going to do the line and do I do it correctly, and it has so much tension in it for the film and for the whole moment for himself that he is Bond.
That shower scene
Yeah.
that you just mentioned it also appeals to both sides of the audience. So the women feel understood because he is sort of, well, it's this man when they sit with you in the cinema, it's the man who came out from the waves of the ocean looking like a god, yeah, and it's, oh, why don't you look like that? And then comes this shower scene, and they think, oh, why does my husband not understand me the way Daniel Craig just understood Eva Green's character? Why does he not see that I'm in trouble, and why does he not come into the shower with me and cries together with me, or sucks my finger or whatever? And you question yourself, am I that type of person? And I realized I am. I would be, because I cannot see people cry. That's where it starts. I cannot see people upset. I will always try to help.
Same here. Well,
And
absolutely.
I would do that with every woman I meet. I would treat her the same way. And I have sort of this receptors that when I feel that there is something wrong, the first question is, what do you need?
yeah.
Do you need a talk? Do you need a blanket? Do you need a cuddle? Whatever. And I think this is also part of being Bond. Of course, we are not Bond. We are in a much more uninteresting world. But still, we have to deal with people day in, day out.
Yeah.
And how we deal with them defines us as villains or good guys. I
Indeed.
think.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fully agreement on your opinion.
Sometimes I'm amazed of the philosophy you spit out after a few glasses of wine.
Keep them
But-
coming. mate.
But Benjamin, I have to make mention of your when you said on your YouTube channel that video that you had out. That was amazing.
Oh yeah, that was absolutely. It was stunning.
Yeah,
It
that
was
really
like,
was. I showed that to my wife, and she was touched by it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it
Thank you
was.
very much. It's important. It's really, really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you feel
And
it.
it takes a long time to arrive at some certain facts in your life, and this is a very important one
Yeah.
because this will help you every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are other things that come later to you, but this will help every day. At least me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I like.
Take pleasure in great beauty.
Yeah, take
Indeed.
pleasure in
Yeah.
great beauty. It's so. It's
It's in the
simple.
small things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said
not
that
the
line
big
to my
things.
wife,
Yeah.
and she looked at me like, "Come on, really?"
Well, that's another subject. But
Yes, exactly.
Oh, by the way, I like.
Well, yeah, it depends. It depends. I mean, it can change every day. Take pleasure in great beauty. I think, oh, let's go work with the horses, and I say, take pleasure in great beauty, and I see him standing there, and he rolled around in his own shit, and I think, yeah, that's,
oh, not again.
that's difficult to take
Lancelot.
pleasure in now, is
Yeah.
it?
And oh, by the way, guys, I like the way there and you introduce James Bond and Vesper on the train in Montenegro. It was so well
that is
made.
such
It
a
was like it was so
It's so
gentlemanlike.
fantastic.
It was so great. It was absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
When they first meet.
But also vicious, how
vicious,
they size
yeah.
each other up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I like
Best dialogue.
absolutely, and I like the way Daniel Craig used to handle this damn bottle. The kind of how he's filling the glasses. It was like, oh my God, why can I do that? So when I was surrounded by women, I was like, oh my God, I can't. The screw is But
Yeah.
it's James Bond. I mean, it's he's sophisticated. He's, I mean,
Yeah.
he has it
And it
all.
also has
You have to uncork a lot of bottles to get there.
and it also has one of the best product placements moments ever in the Bond films, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
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 No, Omega.
Wow.
Not Jorrit.
Yeah,
Or-
it was.
Yeah. Neatly woven in there.
Yeah, neatly. Come on, they put it in the last minute because they had these sponsors.
And the scene when they used to when James Bond get the very last information on the Schiffer, where they used to enter the cab in Montenegro, and when he says, "You're not my type, smart, single." It was simple, but it was it was so great. It was. I mean, the dialogue, they were so great in this movie, and it was so like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I used that quote before somewhere. I used it.
Yeah,
I don't remember what. Have you used any Bond quotes in real life?
of course.
Oh my gosh, you can't imagine how many.
When I go to a meeting or meet someone from the Bond community, I always do the question, "Can I have a match?" It's always the same thing. It's always, yeah.
I used to.
And if someone else asks, I always say, "I prepare a lighter myself." That's the same thing. Yeah.
Really?
A couple years ago, I had to go to the pharmacy, and I had my shaken not stirred T-shirt on, and so the girl behind the counter said, "Oh, I like your shirt. That's great." And then she goes, "Your name?" And I said, "I had to do it." James
It was
Bond.
last year 2023. I had a date with a beautiful Italian girl.
Oh, that's
And
why
I
he speaks
tried,
Italian.
and it was the first of the second date, and it was. I tried to remember the line of Roger Moore in The Man with the Golden Gun, where he addresses Mary Goodnight in Italian, Bella Ora,
Fujak.
and I can't remember those lines, and I was like, I was like stuttering around. I was like, Bella Ora, and she said, "No, just leave it." It was such a mess in that moment, but I was like, yes, I often use James Bond phrases in my day.
That's what that is still on my list. I still have to do it. I have to order a bottle of something very expensive, and then say "Fujak."
No.
Fujak.
That is my favorite line because in the German dubbing, it's even worse because it is not Fujak, it is Fujuk.
Yes.
And it makes it even worse.
Yeah.
And also the dubbing of Live and Let Die is worse in German, and this is a constant running gag. But yeah, that would be something I would use.
I bet nobody's
man.
seen any Siamese vodka.
Siamese.
Siamese vodka. No, I think no. 2 bottles in one. No, I guess
And
not.
I like the expression on the face of Sean Connery. Oh, Siamese vodka. Oh, filthy.
By the way, what is your favorite Connery soundtrack?
Connery soundtrack.
Yeah, comes out of the blue, but it was a subject, I think. Music.
We stray sometimes.
I know, but I try, Ben. I try.
That is the essence of a lounge.
It's a grotto, yeah.
For me, I already said about You Only Live Twice, but
Sorry.
for me,
Yeah, you did.
the fight on that Kobe deck, I love that. I love that music in that. When you see that far away shot of him running across, I love that.
I love the music when the ninjas come into the volcano. It's also so
That's
Bond.
good too. Yeah,
That's very good. Yeah.
yeah.
Really like that.
And some parts of that score are like machine gun shots.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
It really resonates well. It's a really good score. It's not Barry's best,
No.
but it is, and he carries that motif through the film as well.
Yes.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
It repeats,
and
indeed.
That's brilliant.
And that's also what you need in a film. You need recognizable parts that resonate during that film. As you said, Ben, about David Arnold's score for Tomorrow Never Dies, when he pulls up the what was it again? The albatross. towards the fire. Then you have that signature Bond theme thing for that movie, and that continues to come back. And that is also what, in my opinion, makes a good score. That you also have always have those moments that it returns. In the Arnolds, it's always the Bond theme in various states, in various moments, and that's something that I really like about the scores. And I like the Goldfinger soundtrack, by the way, and Thunderball. I think they're great.
I would go with the first James Bond movie. I mean, they did a magnificent job on it to score it. I mean, it was 1962. It was Dr. No. I mean, I like the way John Barry, what he made of the template from Monty Norman.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a House of Mystery Wars where you put it out of, and then this it was so flashing. It was so dynamic. The score and of course Goldfinger, Jorrit. Of course Goldfinger. And I would go also for Thunderball. I think the score in Thunderball it's very special too, and it's And
From Russia with Love.
Russia
with Love is. I know.
I'd actually go for From Russia with Love. Yeah.
You know why I said that, Ben? Because I know you like it very much. Yeah, it's a great score.
I take individual pieces from the individual scores. Like Into Miami in Goldfinger is a brilliant track.
Absolutely.
For this 57-second establishing shot that is so well made because it encapsulates everything that the Bond world is about. And this is one of the most precisely timed scenes in the Bond franchise. You have this helicopter shot going into the Fontainebleau Hotel. At the very same moment, a swimmer is jumping from the platform.
Yeah,
indeed.
That is precision. Yeah. And then going into the water, and then there's a nice blonde swimming by, smiling at you. This is the world of Bond reflected to you from the screen. From Russia with Love, it is the Oriental influences that the score had, like the music that is present in Istanbul or the Gypsy Camp. These are superior pieces of music. Dr. No, I always thought, is a bit weird.
It is, but it's a weird film.
I listened to it. It is a weird film, but that's no reason for the music to be weird. No. I mean, what I really love is Jump Up. Jump Up is a track I really love. Yeah. I know. And the best version was delivered by Roland Shaw and his orchestra, because that was a full stereo track, recreated like it was supposed to sound. On the vinyl, it's mono, I think. It's a mono track. But
it suits the film. It suits the film very well. It suits the whole life on Jamaica so well. So that's true.
One track that I really like is from Diamonds. It's the scene where Bond, Connery, goes to Willard White's penthouse, and as you see, the music plays as he's walking in, and you hear the Bond theme in the background. I just think that's fabulous.
That's great indeed. Yeah, it's a good piece of
Diamonds is a great soundtrack. Yeah, absolutely.
Just a lousy movie.
All these scenes in Vegas, in the casino with Tiffany. My goodness, it's sort of a freak show. A bit too much.
It's campy. Very. I never laughed as much as I laughed during Diamonds of Forever. So you have a stark contrast. So you really have films where you can cry, like Honor Majesties, and right after that, you have Diamonds Are Forever, where you laugh yourself silly. And I like the film for that. I also love the German translation.
Oh my God.
When they're on the oil rig, I mean. And she puts in the cassette, and then they're outside, and he says, "You put the right one in, you stupid bitch." And in German, he says, "You stupid nut," and that sounds so funny in German.
Also, at the beginning, when he comes to the apartment, and she's changing hair and clothing so many times, I'm getting dizzy every time. And there's another hair, another dress, and my goodness, And also,
funny enough, from Diamonds Are Forever, I know I told you, Jorrit, that I whistle David Arnold's tunes quite a lot. when I'm at work, when I'm out with the horses. But there is one tune from Diamonds Are Forever I constantly whistle, and it's that casino track. Da, 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 da. And I always finish it the wrong way. I can remember the first few bars, and then I whistle it or I hum it the entirely wrong way. And then I have to listen to it again to remind myself how it ends. And I can't finish it properly.
Brilliant.
Yeah. But as I said in episode 1 of this podcast, these are things that stay in your memory.
Yes.
The music is a big, big, big influence.
Yeah.
Not to be underestimated.
No. If there is no music in a film, there is no film.
I think it was the Oscars 2013 where it was Billy Crystal, I think. He said in the intro, and now the finishing touch, the music. And there was one review of an American editor, and he said it is the invisible actor in a movie. And it is.
You cannot. Yeah, it makes so much.
Yeah.
It's so important for the film, for the whole sequences, the whole identity of the movie. Even
I mean,
with the beginning, the logo, and then the gun barrel starts and the music starts.
Yeah.
And that's
you
what
mentioned that
pissed me
without
off about
music.
The Craig films.
Yeah.
Until we didn't have, number of films we didn't even have a gun barrel, and the gun barrel should be at the beginning. I'm sorry, I'm old school, but it should be at the beginning.
You're right.
And
I'm same opinion.
Of course, I fully agree. And most of the famous movies on the history of movies are you remember when somebody played the first tones like Jaws, Jaws. It's Jaws. And it's like Indiana Jones. Da, 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 da. It's Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And
Star Wars New Hope.
Yeah.
Darth
that.
Vader music.
It is
Imperial March.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible. Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's a big influence on and the impact is not it's high rise, definitely. Yeah.
What do you think about the Halloween soundtrack? That's also so typical music for that film, and it's only done by a synthesizer. The whole all the Halloween films are synthesizer. That's synthesizer with John Carpenter, and he plays the theme. It is so easy. It's so and when the reboot, not the reboot, but the last 3 films that he did it with his son. So that was so funny. It was so good.
Wow.
They showed some behind the scenes.
Like Psycho.
Psycho as well.
Psycho only has strings. Just strings.
The shower scene in Psycho. This is
yeah.
This is Bernard Herrmann. Or Marnie, for instance, with Sean Connery and Tippi Hedren. There was so impeccable music touches.
Bernard Herrmann, he was fantastic.
Hammond was a genius. He was
absolutely
definitely. Yeah.
I second that. Yeah. Bernard Herrmann. Yeah. I always thought he was German, but he wasn't.
No.
He wasn't.
No.
His name was German.
He was American.
I was like in Psycho. I was in Psycho. This the moment where Marion Crane walks away with the money. It was a da 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 da. You still remember the whole
motif.
Stuff.
Yeah. Right.
Typical motif. Yeah.
Indeed.
I was going to say one thing that they missed in, like Barry missed, I think, is on the end of Honor and Majesty Secret Service. Tracy gets killed, and they pan back to the gunshot in the glass, and they play the Bond theme. I don't think they should have played the Bond theme there.
Yeah.
I think they should have. They could have played maybe the instrumental from
Majesties from Matt Monroe.
Yeah. I just don't think they should have used the Bond theme then.
I was attending one discussion when you just mentioned Fred on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and it was like a friend of mine said, I don't understand this movie. I don't get it. Why? It is simple to get the tone of the movie. And there was one person in the room who said, why can't he play Shostakovich Waltz No. 2 at the end of the movie? I mean, are you nuts? you can't do this.
Most of the people with Majesties only think, who the hell is playing James Bond?
Yeah,
that's a big thing, and many of the people say, oh, he plays it so badly, but I think he plays it very well.
I thought he played it well.
Yes.
Yeah, for what he can do
he was.
at that moment, it's definitely not bad.
Should Lazenby go for a second Bond? I think so.
No.
No.
I don't think he has the performance to be that.
Now the problem was he the whole movie on Masters of the Secret Service he was copying Sean Connery in the whole movie. The hacks, everything.
But the thing is, you have to be an actor who can play many emotions, roles, can live into the situation, method acting, be a spy, do it. That's not what Lazenby could do, because he wasn't an actor at all.
Did he get actors lessons in the time where he used to play James Bond?
Benji, do you know that?
No.
Not that I know of.
He was a model for some chocolate, or he.
Yeah, chocolate model. Yeah.
It was and he was a car salesman, things like that. But I mean, another thing that comes into play is what I've always said. It has a lot to do with direction, with the director.
Yeah.
And George Lazenby did not get on very well with director Peter Hunt on Honor Majesties, because Peter Hunt was, as I recall, a homosexual, and George Lazenby made fun of that.
Yeah.
And so these two couldn't stand each other. If you have a different working relationship like that on set, it is very difficult for a director to get the best out of their actors. And I think that was part of why Lazenby couldn't deliver a better performance as Bond. Although his performance was rather good, I don't think he copied Sean Connery at all. I think he delivered his own version of James Bond, which was good, but a workable basis for more. Giving him a second film, I don't know, because he was sort of a loose cannon.
That's absolutely
the film crew,
the
everybody
beards.
he worked with.
Yeah.
It's not just the garlic scene with Diana Rigg. We don't know if it's true or not, but what we know is based in evidence of people working in the film crew saying he was difficult to work with.
He was.
I spoke to a lot of actors. It's sort of 60-40 like that. 60% say he was difficult to work with. I wouldn't want to recommend that. And 40% were like, I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything.
He was, as the Americans say, a pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, and the British will say a pain in the arse. He was. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
When we switch over to
trying to get any one of the girls in bed, but it didn't work out. So that's one of the more famous stories.
When we switch over to actors of the James Bond movies, compared to the scores we're used to recording the episode here, the Grotto Lounge, should Timothy Dalton have done a third James Bond movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Me too. I go with it. Yeah.
And he dropped out. He dropped out quite. He stayed loyal for a long time.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, and Cubby also gave him a contract even after a license for, I think it was 4 or 5 films. He wanted to bring him into the 90s and bring him up to the 2000s because he saw great potential in the actor. And I think it's a missed opportunity with all those lawsuits with MGM and McClory, and that they couldn't do another one. And Dalton's, I'm not sure if it's true, but he said, I couldn't stay James Bond for that long because I had to move on and do other things. I have to make a living doing other films. And he was right, of course.
He did a great job.
Actually,
in
correct.
Daylight, by the way. He did a great job.
I love that film. And I also love License. And most of the people don't like License, but I love it. I think it's a great film.
Yeah, it's a really good film.
Especially the villain. Come on.
I think the audience wasn't ready by that time for that kind of movie. License.
Maybe not.
Maybe
not. And it was also, it was of course a film who played everything played in America. It was maybe a bit cheap, like the car he drives. What was it? Some kind of Ford or not a very good-looking car. I think Bond has to drive something that looks good and stays with his character. But I like the film. I really love the subject. It was very active at that moment.
Yes, it was.
But it's also down to the fact of the film stock they used. It made it look like a typical 80s action film,
like Miami Vice vibes.
like Miami Vice.
true.
But
And it also came out at the time with Batman and Lethal Weapon. It got murdered at the box office.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it got murdered. Yeah. Guys, let us raise the glass for Mr. Timothy Dalton's performance.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Can we have another bottle of champagne, by the way, for Timothy? Thank you.
Timothy. Yeah.
Foo yuck.
Timothy Dalton, guys, let me put it. Timothy Dalton is Welsh. Is he? Welsh.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He is, He is.
Yeah.
Indeed.
A Scotsman, a Welsh, and an Irishman. What?
Australian.
It's time.
Now a Canadian.
Benjamin,
Time for the Canadian.
Benjamin and Jorrit, I think it's time for the next James Bond to be from the Netherlands or from Germany.
No.
They will never ever do that.
Never.
And it will never be an American.
No.
Well, it came awful close, though.
Yeah.
Remember,
That's
John
it
Gavin
did.
was
Pretty
on
much
it,
a time.
so
Yeah. There was John Gavin was. Yeah.
He can't be from America. I'm sorry. He just
No. Me too. No. Yes.
And remember, they almost had James Brolin.
Yeah.
Remember for Octopussy.
He auditioned for Octopussy. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And he was pretty good, to be honest.
Sam Neill also did audition, of course. Yeah,
That's right.
Sam Neill is from New Zealand.
He's from
That's
New
true,
Zealand.
but he's from the Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth of
I
countries.
think they're-
Yes.
And I think John
Yes.
Gavin wants to be supposed to play James Bond.
For Diamond.
Yeah, he was American.
Yeah.
Cary Grant.
He was
They
American.
signed him. They actually had a contract signed.
Ooh, yeah.
And then David Picker said, "No, we want Connery back," and so they gave him the moon at that
That's true.
time.
They considered so many people for the role of James Bond after Johan lived twice. The list is so long, and I think most of the people we don't even know.
Yeah.
So,
But I absolutely love the fact that they go with Sean Connery and in Diamonds Are Forever, because as Dana Broccoli told in an interview and in the behind the scenes features, she said he turns out to be a really pro. And you see it in the movie. I mean, I think the chemistry between Jill St. John and him was okay. It was good, and but it was okay after the movie that he stepped down from the role, and that he then afterwards they go for Roger Moore, and lucky to be for some people it's an opinion, it's an unpopular opinion, but it is very good that Pierce Brosnan appeared in GoldenEye as James Bond and not before.
It was the rescue of the whole franchise.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a 6-year gap from 1989 to 1995 where the movie used to be released, and it was. I mean, I was sitting in the cinema as an 11-year-old. I mean, you are a child in that moment, and you were like, tongue out of the cheek. It was like, oh my gosh, this is so...
The introduction. His introduction was.
And I instantly fell in love with Isabella Scorupco.
Oh,
Gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
And since we began talking about scores, when this film came out, everybody was lucky and happy that Bond was back on the big screen, and nobody gave a flying flamingo about Eric Serra's score. But today we are.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Thoughts about this score? I liked it. It's not bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Worst score of the series. I'm sorry. I don't like it.
Well, not a theme song.
I'm with you, Fred.
Also GoldenEye by Tina Turner. You don't like?
No, that's not the title song.
No, just the score.
Okay.
Just the score.
The score. Okay.
I'm happy that I have another. opinion.
Question. What is the worst theme song?
Oh, what is the worst theme song?
Yeah, it's very easy for me. It's the Quantum of
It's
Solace.
always the final
Quantum of
question of
Solace,
the evening,
one.
isn't
For
it?
me too. For me too. It's an easy question.
Quantum.
It's
The worst
a tie.
thing
Another way to die and die another day.
Another way to die. Yes, of course.
that's
It is.
very,
Oh my gosh, it was.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I think we're all on the same
Yeah.
page. Yeah.
As the British said, it's rubbish. Rubbish.
Rubbish.
Yeah. I'm pretty much okay with the rest, but for years I wasn't so sure about the man with the golden gun because I thought that was way over
Top.
everything. Yeah, not just over the top. I mean, it blew the top off.
Yeah.
But another way to die and die another day, they surely take the
Die Another Day is a good second.
peak
second
position.
best,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Weird.
But what
Weird.
about the Roger Moore soundtracks? Which is your favorite? What is your favorite?
Nobody does it better.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But is
it
that
just
the
fits.
title
It
song or
fits.
is that the score?
The score.
Oh, the score.
Yeah, the score.
Ooh.
I like the
Which
scene.
is your
where-
favorite?
I like the scene on the boat with Major Amassaver and Roger Moore, where the sunset used to be shown in the movie. I like that scene, and I like the score what Marvin Hamlish used.
I'm a big fan of Bond 77. That's wonderful. So
That's
good.
good. That's
Yeah,
really
it's
good.
a crazy
Yeah.
track.
Crazy track.
And it gets even more crazy. One of my friends put it on 1.5 speed.
Yeah.
And then it sounds even crazier.
What enough?
It's not bad. It's
Oh
not
my
bad.
And there is this remix with the Bee Gees. You should be dancing.
Yeah.
That is gold.
Yes, it is.
That is gold. Oh yeah.
I think that is one of the best more soundtracks. Live and Die, of course, very good. And I also like the Octopussy soundtrack. It's not bad.
Yeah.
So
I like the scene in Moonraker when Bond, after the boat and everything, and he's walking in the jungle and sees the girl.
Yeah.
That scene right there that music is fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've done a lot of.
Absolutely. Moonraker in itself is a fantastic score.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the theme song from.
Theme is
Shirley
great.
Jackson. Yeah, she was great in the whole James Bond series. You know,
And the disco version. It is so fantastic.
boy.
you know, in my
That is
in
so
my in my
fantastic.
leisure time, I used to sing a lot, and I'm some kind of semi-professional singer. And of course,
Oh, welcome to the club.
of course, I used to sing a lot of James Bond theme songs, and I once covered a medley of James Bond, and I tried this the song from Moonraker. It sounds easy, but it is hard to sing. Believe me, guys.
It
It
is. I know, I did it. It's very
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
It's very hard,
Yeah.
especially when you do it live.
Yeah.
In my case, that's how to clear an auditorium in 3 minutes.
For Your Eyes Only by Shirley Easton is Your Eyes Only.
Oh,
You see me.
you need a good voice for that.
That's much easier.
Yeah.
But Moonraker soundtrack is wow. It's a high stake. Of course,
You have quite a good voice. We should record something.
of course,
Yeah,
anytime.
That's a date then.
So when the next James Bond movie drops out, maybe in 2026, 27, 28,
No.
or whatever,
No.
we sang
No.
on the London premiere.
Oh,
another
God, no.
another duo like Alicia Keys and Jack White. That would be something.
Oh, God, no.
But I think the song.
So on that note, I think we can draw a line under that.
Well, I want to know
The
your
way-
opinion about A View to a Kill about the soundtrack.
Wow.
Also one that I
about
really
the
like.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
The score, I think,
I like it.
sadly, it's
I do
repetitive.
too. I like
It's
it.
repetitive.
Yes. Absolutely.
I like it, but it's repetitive. The motive is overused, sadly. From the opening sequence to the Golden Gate Bridge end, it sounds a lot like The Living Daylights with different melodies.
Without
But that's the
techno
unpopular
stuff, you
opinion.
mean?
It's not one of my favorites,
Okay.
if that's what you wanted to
No,
hear.
I just want to hear your opinion. So
I have-
that's it.
Um,
I saw Fred giving the thumbs up. So
Yeah, I like it. Of course, for me, it's John Barry's like pizza. there's never any bad. There's just some that are better than others. So
Wisely put. Yeah.
So,
And with Thomas Newman stuff, there's pineapple all over it. I almost said that.
Good
Yeah.
point.
that's good.
point.
I like that.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Benjamin, do you recognize the score, the whole Spectre score? It sounds completely Skyfall.
It is. It's true.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I know.
true.
Because he's a,
And I also, and I
He's a
always,
recycler.
I always wear,
He ran out of new ideas.
Yeah.
and I always wear my sunglasses when I watch that movie
Okay.
because it's so damn yellow.
Yes. Yes.
yes.
I used to
Solid.
watch,
Film
Oh, do you
with the color filter yellow.
do you remember? Do you remember that song? I wear my sunglasses at
Oh
night.
yes.
That had a James Bond theme music video.
Okay.
There you
That
go.
was
I
fantastic.
think that's the
Have
inspiration.
a look at that.
That's the inspiration
Yeah.
from the art, from the
Very,
director of photography.
very
for
beautiful.
Spectre. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So on that note, I think we can conclude this episode of the Golden Grotto Lounge, not to bore people with our musical capabilities and singing and
Don't you,
review.
Ben, sorry.
soundtracks.
don't you want to talk about Dalton, Brosnan, and Craig's soundtracks then? To include some or
How long do you want
no,
this
not,
episode
not
to be?
You can cut, of course.
5 a.m. in the morning.
I thought that you wanted to do the music from the Bond films, not from two actors.
Well, not all of it.
Not all of it.
I mean, well, we asked for favorites, so
that's
Oh,
fine.
we have
It's your call.
return on the next episode.
let's
We have to return.
exactly let's keep something for the next episode
Golden Grotto
that
Lounge
forces
will
you
I guess it will be a
to
regular
come back.
then.
Yep. Keep them wanting
Yeah.
more. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, in any case, you're going to be regulars from now on.
You know what I'm drinking?
I
The
don't know
the
what you
usual.
thought this would be.
I guess it's finally the moment that we catch up every week.
I think so too.
Jorrit was thinking, oh my god, I'm attending the longest James Bond podcast ever made.
Oh no, this is not the longest one. No, we did Instagram lives for 3.5 hours, so this is nothing.
3.5 hours.
That is still far away from a Guinness Book World Record.
Yeah. But go ahead, Ben. Do your thing.
Thank you very much for listening to the Golden Grotto podcast. That's my thing.
I
That's
know.
the outro
Yeah.
thing. I hope you will return next week, same time here on this channel, the Bond Bulletin, with maybe new guests after what Jorrit just said. Or returning guests. They will be revolving. If you have any comments or any topics you would like us to discuss, please leave a comment under the podcast or send me a message via the Bond Bulletin. I will read every single comment and every message you send. So if you have any questions for us or topics you want us to cover, let us know. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and see you in the next podcast episode next week. Gents, it has been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Au revoir.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Au revoir. Have a
Bye-bye.
safe journey home.
Arrivederci.
Can I have another drink,
Bye-bye.
please?
Arrivederci.